Okay, guys, so what we're doing is we are working on our thesis for our graffiti art project. I really hope this is recording because it wasn't recording before. Anyways, go ahead and take the time to write graffiti art project at the top of the page. This is your first step for your objective. Fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my title. And this is a brainstorm. Brainstorms are just so important. So we're going to take the time to do that and just watch this video. Make sure you do your thesis right now in class. Go ahead, direct message us if you have a hard time. You could use any of these sentence starters. The sentence starters aren't, absolute necessity. They aren't. But you're going to go ahead and you're going to use the one that makes the most sense to you. Now, I'm thinking, I already did my ABC chart of different, social issues. So I have decided that to write about distance learning, kind of as an issue, because I feel like that is something that's really impacted kids. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the sentence starter number 2 during the pandemic, and I'm going to spread awareness about how distance learning is impacted with kids. Now, the words that you use are important. You want to be so honest, right? Like kids are overwhelmed. And you could use as many adjectives as you want. Like I could say overwhelmed, stressed, depressed, angry, frustrated. I could go ahead and I could say as many words as I want, right? This doesn't have to be pretty because the more words I use, the more ideas I'll have for metaphors later on. And then I'm going to write like as specific as I can. It is not natural, right? And that could give you a lot of ideas for distance metaphors, like showing that kids are not allowed to be kids. So you want to be as specific as you can and keep adding on as many details as possible. It is not natural for kids to be afraid of the computer. In order to fix this, now, why do we have to write this extra sentence? You want to have some kind of positivity, some kind of a solution. And it may be hard to figure out the solution to the world's problems. I know that's a lot to ask in an art class. It is. But you can go ahead, you could show the solution with your graffiti slogan, right? Like, what are the next steps? So you as a child, you know way more than you give yourself credit for. And I want you to just think like, well, what needs to be different about the world? And that could be your graffiti slogan. So I'm just basically saying here, kids need to have more social activities where they could play, laugh, and just be kids during the pandemic. How can we make learning more fun? And again, your thesis could be as long as possible because then you have more idea for slogans, metaphors as you're working in your work, your graffiti artwork. Erase, it could be as messy as you want, no stress at all. So just keep working on your thesis. Make sure you have a positive and a negative, right? Don't be stuck, right? Basically, what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to identify a problem. Why is it a problem? What do grown-ups, what does the world need to know about this problem in order to stop the problem? Like, you're educating your audience. What are you spreading awareness? Like, what's messed up? Tell the world what's messed up and what are the solutions. That's basically it. You may want to stop at self-monitor and make sure you have your truth, right? And I'm going to do all my truth and all the negatives in warm colors. So you could go ahead, highlight, annotate, marker, everything. So it kind of like makes sense. All right. And then, so I'm like highlighting all the negative. During the pandemic, kids are overwhelmed by distance learning because it is not natural for students to learn on the computer. That is the truth. That's negative. And I could have added like they're stressed out, they're anxious. I could have done more of that. And then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure I have that positive, that hope, and highlight that in blue. We need to have more social activities. You guys get the idea. So everyone, make sure you're working on your thesis. And then make sure you have those next steps for the world. Like, what does the world need to do in order to change this problem? Because people want solutions. People want to see solutions. People want to know what to do to make it better. And then, I really recommend stopping before you go into the metaphor brainstorm. Stop and actually annotate your work, your thesis. And what I mean by that, the reason for doing that is maybe you realize you need to fix something, you want to write something on the side. I'm boxing my topic, okay? I have a clear topic. This is the social issue that I'm talking about. Now, you may want to stop and you may want to write in the margins some additional words if you feel like you missed something. Private message us, show us.